All right, Brad, how the heck are you, man? How you been? It's been a while.
It has been a while. I'm glad to be back. It's my second time in here, and I appreciate you having me.
Oh, my gosh. I thought like the last time, because last time we talked about ball flight laws, ball flight patterns, and all that stuff, and I thought it was super informative, and there was so much curiosity from my end that came out of it of just, we could have probably talked for hours about that. There's so much to learn.
Yeah, I could go on for a while on it, but nobody really wants that. But I kept it quick, kept it short.
Yeah, but what you been doing? I mean, gosh, when was that we met? I don't even know.
Oh man, that had been back
September, maybe.
Yeah, I was gonna say early fall. Yeah,
okay,
somewhere in there. So since then, we've with COVID and everything, the year with COVID was really good.
Yeah,
all things considered, business wise.
Yeah, and golf just wise. I mean,
golf wise,
wow.
Yeah, personally wise is even okay. I mean, I've never gotten sick or anything like that, so that's good. Mm-hmm. It's a lot of times in the winter, I'll do. Every other winter, I've done lessons inside in the winter.
Right.
And, I didn't this year. I just like the risk. And people probably don't want to be inside in a close space with me. I don't know that I really want to be in close space with a bunch of strangers.
Right.
Or not strangers, but just, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah,
students.
totally. Yeah, I hadn't really even thought about that till you just said that.
Back in about May, when golf really got going and my business teaching was going strong, I was like, I may not be doing this for maybe 3 months this winter because of this. So I kind of, at least I had the foresight to see that it may be a problem this winter.
Right.
And so I really hit it as hard as I could through the whole summer, and with the intent of saying, well, I'm probably going to take 2 or 3 months off in the winter, unlike I normally do. Everything turned out just fine, and just went on from there. So I, like I said, I took 3 months off when the weather was good, which it was for periods of time this winter. I did some lessons outdoors and got to play a little bit, but other than that, I was just kind of hanging out with the kids. I coached third grade girls basketball.
Oh man,
which was a lot of fun. We lost championship game of the tournament.
Oh, wow.
So it was a pretty successful year.
I bet. Dang, all the way to the championship, huh?
Yeah, we finished second in the league. Couldn't beat that number one team, though.
Oh,
they were really good.
That's good.
So
what third grade is how old? I feel
9 years old.
Okay, all right, cool. That's the same age as my nephew. He's actually 9 today, so happy birthday to my nephew.
Oh, happy birthday.
Yeah. That's interesting that you talk about, I was going to back up on a few. First off, we got down here really early. It's still dark outside.
Damn, Billy, this is early. I think
hey,
I think
you
it should
said
be
you
noted.
were, yeah.
I think it should be noted that I'm doing this on no caffeine. I am not a coffee drinker.
Okay.
And I've used to drink a lot of soda, Coke, Pepsi, whatever, and I don't drink very much of that anymore. So it's just
so you're a little
going natural. No help here today.
That's wow.
Yeah.
Well, I'm amped up. So I've had, let's see, I had my pre-workout drink and I'm on my first cup of coffee. So I might be on a different level than you.
You're giving me your energy.
Okay, good. Yeah, I'll shoot it over to you.
Yeah.
But a couple things, I hadn't thought about the fact that indoor lessons would be difficult. I don't know why that never even entered into my realm of thought, specifically with COVID and the pandemic, even though the vaccinations are going crazy right now and there's tons of people being vaccinated. And
obviously this winter, the vaccinations weren't happening.
Weren't there,
and I think a lot of people, other teaching pros did do indoor lessons.
Yeah.
And that's just a decision that I made.
Which I don't think that's a negative by anything. I think it's an interesting thing. I think that's actually pretty wise of just safety wise. Keep yourself, your family, whoever of safe. And you don't want to be part of, I'm not saying the problem, but spreading the virus around. But it seems like, I wanted to ask on, not that you know exact numbers, but it sounds like you're saying the amount of lessons you taught in 2020 exceeded prior years?
Everything, when COVID hit, I guess that was probably about middle of, almost just a little over a year ago, just early March last year. And so basically nobody knew what was going on.
Right.
And so basically, a lot of the golf courses, my two, Sycamore and Shoal Creek, they shut down for the most part.
Yeah.
And I didn't know what was going to happen. But about 4 weeks into it, they started opening the golf courses for, if you wanted to walk and play, no driving range, nothing like that. And I started giving some putting lessons, started off that way. And it just kind of, each week it seemed like a little bit more opened up. So by about 7 weeks after COVID first hit and everything shut down, I was back to giving full lessons.
Full lesson, yeah.
And golf courses were packed because that was one of the few things we could do. And it like I said, I tried to go extra hard at it this season because I was not sure how the winter was going to go, and it turned out to be one of my best years ever.
That's awesome.
So,
yeah, and I don't see it really trending down in 2021. No. I think it's going to be just as big. Yeah. I mean, I know the vaccines come into play and stuff like that, but I think, I don't have the exact numbers, but I know just in Kansas City, golf courses were up 30-40% in rounds. I mean, when they're pushing over 200 rounds a day on weekdays, I don't remember that when I was a professional.
A couple of years ago, I tell the people that I play with, like, Tom and Nick and those guys, we all talk about this. Like, a couple of years ago on a Tuesday afternoon, I could go play 9 holes in an hour and a half between lessons.
Right.
I mean, I can't get on the golf course till 6 o'clock now. And by then I'm like, oh no,
I know.
I'm going home.
Yeah. You have to, I can remember, and even now I have to call out and book a tee time for twilight. Or like after 5 p.m. because in talking to John and Clayton out at the golf course, I'll call them in the morning and be like, hey, you got tee times? They're like, yeah. I'll show up later. Oh no, you can't get out there.
Do they laugh at you or not?
Yeah, of course they do.
Right.
and I appreciate that, but as much as that is frustrating, I know there's a lot of golfers who are like, gosh, it's annoying. I tend to skew the other way of this is amazing that we're getting this many more people playing golf in the game.
A few years ago, we were talking about shutting some golf courses down.
Yes.
And now, we don't hardly have enough inventory for all the demand.
Yeah, so. Exactly. But I think, I hope the trend continues. I know the pandemic, the COVID, coronavirus, it all caused this. I hope it keeps going, but there's going to be a downtick at some point. I mean, people are going to, things are going to open back up. People are going to be able to do different recreational sports. They're going to use their discretionary income for other purposes. And right now, golf is taking the benefit of that.
I think the biggest thing that helped golf during COVID is the fact that, one, people were working from home.
Yeah.
So they
sneak away.
Working from home. Like I've played golf with a couple of guys that had their phone in their back pocket and an earpiece, and they're on a conference call while they're playing.
Right.
So they're working from home. So that gives them a little bit more flexibility on their time to go play. And two, a lot of kids' activities, unfortunately, were canceled.
Yeah.
And so if you don't have to go to a baseball game or a soccer game on a weekend or on a weekday night after work, hey, you got more time to play golf, which leads us into what junior golf and stuff. Something I wanted to talk about. And last year, this will be my 5th year doing PGA Junior League. Last year was my 4th, and every kid's sport was being canceled.
Yeah.
And I'm like, we have got to figure out a way, since golf, we can play golf.
Right.
We've got to figure out a way to make PGA Junior League happen. Now, the national tournament was canceled, but the PGA let us continue to do our local stuff.
Okay.
And it turned out great. The parents were very supportive and thankful that their kids actually had something that they could go out and do.
Oh my gosh.
Once a week.
They probably were like, thank you. I just need time away from them.
Yeah. And, we went ahead and did our junior golf camps, outdoors on the driving range, on the putting green, golf course.
Were there more participants?
Social distance. Yeah.
The numbers went up. Nice.
Yeah, our PGA Junior League numbers have gone up every year. This year, we are still what's this, March 24th.
Yep.
And we're about 2.5-3 weeks away from starting practice.
Wow.
And we are completely full. Well, Sycamore Ridge is completely full, and Shoal Creek has exploded with the number of kids there that want to participate. And we're not completely full yet, but we're not completely full because I opened it up to more kids.
Okay, gotcha.
So we're going to have, by the end of it, we're going to have about 50 kids, which there's bigger.
Across both
courses.
That's awesome.
And, that there's bigger programs out there in the city, but for me and the courses that I'm at, that's outstanding. That's really, really good numbers.
What is your main thing that you're trying to accomplish with the junior league and everything, with the PGA involved and everything?
So PGA Junior League is it's more of an introductory to golf, and a fun thing with golf more than a competitive thing.
Is the curriculum kind of given to you from the PGA, or are you
to a degree?
Okay,
the format of play is given to us.
Okay,
they structure it as far as how we coach the kids. That's kind of up to us, because technically PGA only sets up the format for the league games or the tournaments, whatever you want to call them, the matches. And so the first year we did it, we just did that, and then I was like, these kids need more. These kids come out, some of them never swung a club before. So the second year, and we've done it ever since, we've had 7 weeks of practice leading up to the first game.
Okay.
So we'll start practicing as a team April 15th, middle of April. Every Tuesday and Thursday we'll practice for an hour and a half. And then when we get to June and July, that's when we have our games.
Okay.
So we see a lot more, a lot better golf, a lot more improvement. The kids, aren't nervous.
Yeah,
as they would be. You go out there and do something for the first time you've never done it before.
Yeah,
you don't know what to do. The pace of play is better. So it's a way to introduce the game to some kids that I'm not going to say we would never have played, but maybe wouldn't play as young.
Yeah,
and a lot of the kids that when we started, I've got 3 or 4 of the kids that were on those teams 3 or 4 years ago are now playing on high school teams.
That's what we want. We want people to. I mean, it sounds like it's setting the foundation for the lifelong sport of golf.
It is. That's exactly what it does.
What is a match? Is it between people at the 50 kids at Sycamore and Shoal, or are you traveling to go play other courses? A
little bit of both. So
okay, all right.
We've got early on, we just started doing it at Sycamore Ridge. And we had 1 team at first, then we got to 2 teams, and we got into a league with Loch Lloyd or Lionsgate, or I think maybe we were in there with Iron Horse 1 year, Creekmore, whatever it was.
Okay, yeah.
So we had a league of 4 teams, and we'd go play those golf courses. And then we got more and more kids interested every year. And so last year we said we're going to form our own league. And so I got Shoal Creek involved a couple of years ago, and they put a couple of teams in. Sycamore Ridge put a couple of teams in. We had our own 4-team league that I could oversee the whole thing.
Oh, yeah.
So we would only travel back and forth between Sycamore Ridge and Shoal Creek.
Makes sense.
Which those 2 courses aren't anywhere near each other.
Right.
But
couldn't be any more polar opposites of the metro.
Any farther apart.
Yeah.
But it gives those kids on both ends of it a chance to go play a different golf course.
Absolutely.
They're probably not going to drive all the way down there as juniors to play that golf course.
It reminds me of Casey Cup first off, and then it reminds me of KCGA when I played in the KCGA junior program. And it was all different courses across the metro area, and it was great. I can remember my parents were just so enthusiastic about it, of like, look how many courses you get to go play.
Right.
And I think that's awesome. So what are the matches like?
Yeah, so talking about it being more fun, less competitive, it's a 2-person scramble.
Oh,
format.
Nice.
Boys and girls both are obviously welcome. 2-person scramble format, but there's 3 kids on a match.
Okay.
So for example, it'd be you, me, and third person, and so you and I might play the first 3 holes as a scramble. Okay, and those first 3 holes are a match against the other team. So if you
match play or
scramble match play.
Cool.
So you and I are scrambling against those 2 kids. We win, we get a point.
I feel like Adam Sandler right now. Like, I want to be on in dodgeball court when he's playing basketball. I want to go play in this PGA Junior League with these kids.
The course setup would be just perfect.
Yeah, exactly. Could still hit driver off of every hole.
Yeah, driver wedge.
Yeah.
And then so we do that, and so then every 3 holes is what they call a flag.
Okay.
And so you get a point if you win that 3-hole match, and so you add up your points at the end of the 9 holes.
Okay.
And then some matches will have just 2 kids where they'll play all 9 holes. Some matches will have enough kids where there'll be a third that subs in.
Gotcha.
So player A and B play holes 1 through 3. A and C play 4, 5, 6, and then B and C play 7, 8, and 9.
So does the third participant or the third person on the team, do they like score and tend the flags and stuff?
They can.
Okay,
Yeah, they can help read greens. They can.
They're just not hitting the shot.
They're not hitting the shot. But they can help with all the strategic part of it if they want.
That's cool.
Some kids just ride the cart.
Yeah.
And wait till it's their turn. That's okay too.
Yeah. But what a way to learn potentially like course management, like being that third kid that's not necessarily playing in that 3-hole match, but like, man, I can see some kids probably really get into it, and you're like, wow, that kid's going to be really good someday at golf. I mean, that's
for sure. There's a lot of that, and the parents come out. This past year with COVID, we had to limit. It was like 1 parent per kid. Yeah. But in the past, when there was no restrictions, we'd get. I mean, it'd be like a freaking parade.
I can imagine
going down the first hole of carts and mom, dad, grandparents, brothers and sisters, dogs.
Everyone's
and cats,
got their iPad or iPhone or Android device taking pictures every 5 seconds.
Yeah. So it's gets the whole family involved.
I would imagine that, if I were a kid putting myself back into that day, that would be awesome. And what a preparation for, I grew up playing the Overland Park junior tournament there every year. But that was the only time like I played in front of people. I guess the KCGA was part of it too, but what I'm getting at is it sounds like this really helps prepare for potentially when you go to high school and your parents are following you or your coach is following you around. Cause I can remember like freshman year of golf at high school being like, no, mom, dad, you're not coming and hanging out with me.
Right.
So you're not going to watch me play. And this sounds like it would completely negate all those negative feelings that someone might have or a kid might have. Yeah.
One of the things with the kids that are older that I teach that I'm getting them ready to go into high school, I encourage them to play as many summer events as they can.
Yeah.
And it's like, it doesn't really matter how you do. It's more about the fact that you're out there playing with people that you don't know. It's not only the spectators, it's just you're playing with somebody else that you don't know.
Yeah.
And they're watching you play, and you need to get used to playing with somebody other than your best friend or your mom and dad or me or something like that, somebody that you don't know. You don't know how they're going to play. You need to learn the etiquette of golf, all those type of things, and just the fact of dealing with the pressure that you might feel to play in an event and try to do your best, but yet you're playing with people you don't know, or you got people actually watching you, like you said, just all those things.
Being comfortable with being uncomfortable, is kind of where I go with this. It's like you can prepare for all these things, but at the same time, you might hit a bad shot, you might hit a great shot, and you need to figure out how to deal with that. Yes.
Yeah, you will do both.
Yeah.
And we can stand on the range and you can go play a few holes with me here and there, but it's not real game situation. So
no, the pressure, it sounds funny, but like, I don't know if they announce the kid's name. Do they announce them on the first tee or anything? Do they say their names or anything?
No, but a lot of times, especially the first couple groups, like the whole
everyone's down there.
The whole group is down there watching.
Every parent, yes.
And so in some cases, it's like I think sometimes the kids do well because they don't know what they don't know.
Right.
They don't know that
the pressure.
I should be nervous that I got 40 people watching me hit this shot. They just do
keep that mentality if they can.
Yeah,
that's that, because like I know when I go play in events and stuff like that, and they announce my name, that shot of adrenaline kicks in, and it's like, oh man, I gotta hit this tee shot, and there's 4 people watching. So
one of the I tell this to the high school kids a lot, that I can see they'll never admit it, but they're nervous or they're uneasy about what they're doing. And one of I don't even know who told me this quote, but I'll never forget it, is that if you think about all the people in a tournament, half the people in the tournament don't care how you do.
No.
The other half
do not care.
And the other half hope you do worse.
Yes. It's so true. Yeah. It's so true because like They're so worried about their own game,
right,
that they're just like, I'm going to focus on this. I don't care what you're doing over there. They probably don't even realize they're playing with you. And then there's all the other kids out there, participants that are just like, miss it, miss it.
yeah. In their head, not out loud.
Right, exactly. They're not saying that out loud. And I'll be honest here. I was that kid. You know, if I was playing in a match and I was, you know, working with somebody, and I was, you know, or not working with somebody, but playing against them, I was encouraging them, but at the same time, it was devastating when they birdied a hole or something. And I would, you know, if they had a 10-foot putt for birdie, in my head, I was going, miss it. But then I was, you know, when they made it, I was always at the end of it going, that was really fun to watch. Like, it's always fun to watch somebody play really well.
Sure it is.
And because you don't see that very often.
I would rather get beat by somebody that plays really well than get beat by somebody that played
mediocre. And
because then I know
bad.
I didn't play very well.
Yeah, and that's tough. It sounds like, you know, drawing back to the junior golf here a little bit, like it's interesting that we're talking about this, because last night I had dinner with a buddy and we got into a discussion of everybody's a winner. What, you know, in these kids' athletic sports and stuff like that, like soccer and basketball and stuff like that. It sounds like there's a little bit of that in the PGA Junior League, and correct me if I'm wrong thinking that but I feel and very strong that golf teaches kids to deal with adversity. Yes. And I think that sometimes is lacking in some other sports of how we've kind of changed to, like, everyone gets an orange slice, everyone gets, and I get that. Like, I'm not bashing it, because I equate that to, if I go run a 5K, they hand me a medal at the end of it, and I'm like, oh, I did it. It's kind of like, yay, I did it. I don't disagree with that aspect of it. What I disagree with is there are winners and losers in life. And when we give this aspect of everyone's a winner, I don't know if we're doing any justice to the kid. Now, I have no scientific evidence proving that. Right. But this is just my opinion.
And that kind of goes back to the PGA Junior League is, like I said, it is competitive.
Right.
But it's less about that, and it's more about introduction and having fun.
Absolutely.
But that being said, I've never had any of these teams go out there and not want to win.
Right.
And I think you're right. I don't like the fact that everybody feels like they have to win. It's okay to lose. Like I tell my daughter, with the basketball team, like, hey, she rides home in the car and she misses a few shots in the game and she thinks that she's let the team down. I'm like, hey, look, it's okay to lose.
Right.
It's okay. You're not going to win every time.
Yeah.
It's okay to lose. It's okay to learn from that loss.
Exactly.
And, you know, relating it to the basketball, she's like, well, I missed a bunch of shots. I feel like I played bad. Well, you know, guess how many shots Michael Jordan and LeBron James and Steph Curry have missed?
Oh,
I mean,
tens of thousands.
They're the best players in the world, and they've missed more shots than they've made.
Right.
So, you miss a 3-foot putt. Well, guess what? PGA Tour players miss 3-foot putts
all
too.
the time. Well, look back at the Players Championship of all the weird shots, Bryson and Lee Westwood were hitting, and it just, I agree, like, let that fire burn inside you a little bit and fuel you to prepare for the next time. Now, I think that you have to be realistic with that, of, like, you're still going to not be perfect. And I think that's what people struggle with, of, like, you have to, you do have to lose, fail fast. Like, it creates a better person for me. Plus, it sets you up for career stuff of, like, not everything's going to go your way.
Yeah, exactly. You might not get hired. You might get fired sometime.
Right. So, I mean,
hopefully not.
My feeling, I don't want everyone walking. I'm not saying this is going to happen, but, like, your feelings are going to get hurt in life. And you need to, I think golf really teaches you that, because, and it's so independent. Because, you're executing that shot. Now, with a scramble and stuff like that, you have your partner and stuff like that, but you're still executing that one shot right then.
But almost sometimes, I think in the scramble, it's even harder, because I would rather disappoint myself than somebody else.
Right.
Or let somebody else down than myself. But
and there's nothing more nerve-wracking than when you're the fourth person to hit a shot and everyone's out of play, and you're like, oh, I just got to wait. What? Come on, guys. Like,
let me take this 6-iron off the tee instead of driver, right?
Well, I guess we need to play safe now, since you guys didn't do anything. So, but it's interesting. So it sounds like on the PGA Junior League stuff, that the foundation is set to begin a lifelong journey through golf.
Absolutely.
Which is incredible. I think there's too much. I'm glad it's more about setting the foundation than it is about competitive nature, even though it is competitive.
It just naturally becomes competitive.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
It's, we're trying to teach the kids how to play and how to play the game. And it just, like I said, just naturally, it's good because the kids naturally want to win.
What are some of the things like what's keeping parents or juniors or kids getting into the game? What are some things that you hear from
keeping them from getting into it?
Yeah, do you objections to it?
One of the things that I understand it, and it doesn't make me mad, but it's just a tiny bit frustrating when you've got a junior league practice or a junior league game, and I always email the parents the week before trying to figure out who's going to be there so I can get everything organized, and they're good about responding. And a lot of times it'll be like, well, we've got a baseball game tonight, so we can't be there. We've got a soccer game this afternoon, so we can't be there, whatever. And I'm like, sometimes I wish that you would tell the soccer team or the baseball team that I've got a golf match.
I've got a golf match.
But, I think two things. One, I think that parents pay a lot more money to play in baseball and soccer and other sports than they do to play in our junior league. And so they feel like they've paid $1,000 to play in that, and they've paid a few $100s to play this, they're going to go do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Two, kids can play golf forever.
Right.
Whereas if you're playing baseball or soccer or basketball or whatever it is, that may end for you by the time you're a senior in high school. At least
did for me
on a team or competitive. You can play rec league or whatever, but really
that's just full of injuries.
Right. Right. So I think there's a little bit of that in it as well.
Yeah.
So
I can see that. I can remember back when I was a kid and my sister and I traveled the country playing soccer, and I can't say that, my parents looked at me and said, well, we're paying more for soccer, so you're going to go play soccer. But I can remember, oh, you've got this and you've got that. But I feel like we always went to both. Yeah. Like my parents were adamant about you're doing this. I mean, they kept us so active.
A lot of the kids do a lot of other sports, but I think if it comes down to if their games times conflict,
right.
I think that the other sport is going to get picked 9 out of 10 times over golf. And, like I said, maybe that's just maybe the kid would just rather play it. Would rather go play baseball than golf.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
Yeah. Well, specifically if they've been playing baseball, they're just now getting into golf, maybe there's a little more passion towards that sport at this point in time, but I can flip-flop. So,
yeah, I think a lot of times baseball or basketball or soccer or football, whatever it is, becomes the kid's first sport. Golf was not my first sport.
No.
So,
thank you for calling it a sport. Yeah.
Hey,
it's a sport. Yeah.
It's a sport. Especially if you have to walk and carry your bag.
Yeah. Tired thinking about that.
I know. Yeah. But yeah, it's not a lot of kids' favorite, or shouldn't say favorite. It's not their first sport.
Right. Right.
And so, maybe as we do junior league more and more across the country and locally in the city, and we start them out at 8, 9 years old in junior league, maybe it does become their first sport.
And there's no reason it couldn't. I mean, I was just sitting here as you were talking about that. I was sitting there, gosh, why couldn't you start organizing it like recreational soccer or recreational basketball? Just being like, hey, I mean, we do that kind of out at Sycamore. I mean, that we're not paying a league fee or anything to play every Saturday. And you see the text messages, but that's basically all we're doing. It's like, hey, we like playing. Let's get together and play. Someone makes a tee time and we send it out and people sign up.
Yeah, in our junior golf camps, I've let as young as 6-year-olds in there.
That's awesome.
That's probably a little bit young, but as long as the parents feel okay with it, then all right. Usually it's 7, but yeah.
You just think why 7? Just curious, just because
I think
a little more strength in the body.
That and just attention span.
Yeah,
is something. I think at 5 and 6, you haven't really, maybe you've gone through kindergarten, but you haven't really been in that teacher class setting as long.
That's a good point.
So 7, 8-year-old in a group setting is a little bit better. They tend, I think, maybe to listen just a little bit better and have just a little bit longer attention span because they have maybe been through kindergarten and first grade. versus not having that. I don't know. That's just my idea. I don't know if that's fact or not.
No. Yeah, I'm not trying to get at that. I just think it's interesting I agree with you 100% of like
motor skills are a little bit more advanced. Things like that.
That's awesome. But you want to switch gears? Talk about
whatever you want.
Okay. So a couple things that we'll talk about now is you recently went to Vegas, right?
Yeah, you better save that one for last.
Okay, we'll save that. But then you've also made a couple, I'll call them equipment changes, but you've done a couple things.
Right. One
being, if you want to talk about the first one, being Trackman.
Yeah, okay. So that's something I've wanted to have for a couple of years now.
I was pretty excited for you. When I saw the picture on social media, I was like, wow.
Yeah.
So
it's a big addition. I've only had it for 6-8 weeks, whatever it was. But,
wow.
When the weather's been decent enough, I get it out there almost every day. Use it in almost all my lessons. Just the information, how easy it is to use, and the information that you get, and the feedback that you can give the students right on the spot. Not just video, seeing their swing, but the numbers. And I think I'm even, especially with people that have some golf experience, they're not true beginners. I think that I've even been a little bit surprised at how big of a help the numbers are to them. So I can watch somebody hit and see them hit a big slice and say you're X number of degrees over the top with X degree open club face, but it's more of a rough guess. And now you can put an exact number on it, and I think it's starting to register a little bit quicker, and it makes. Hopefully I'm explaining it in a way that makes sense to people, and that gives you 100 different numbers. And I've knocked out a lot of those things that we don't need.
Right.
But there's 5 or 6, 7 numbers that I would like to have everybody understand.
Yeah. Well, and I think to interject for just a second and then get into those numbers that you want people to understand. But like, I think society in just general, we have our mobile devices that we walk around with. We're inundated with information constantly, but we love that too. So I think, when you're saying people are getting into the numbers and stuff, I 100% agree with that. Cause like, look at all the golf tracking apps that are out there of you go and play 18 holes. Everyone is instantly, how many fairways did I hit? How many greens did I have? How many putts did I have? Oh, am I improving? Am I not improving? So I think this is just another avenue to help people understand how to get better at the game.
A lot of people are starting to have their own launch monitor type of device of their own. They're becoming pretty affordable. Trackman's not super affordable, but it's worth it.
Yeah,
totally, for somebody that does what I do. Now, if you're just the average guy, probably wouldn't want to do that.
No.
But the difference is the Trackman versus just a regular launch monitor. This is the difference maker for me, is it will do your club path and club face. Whereas a lot of the launch monitors will just do ball speed and club speed and where the ball goes. Or not, it won't even do where the ball goes. It'll just give you all those type of numbers.
Right.
Launch angle, that type of stuff. But this will give you path and face. And then it combines video with it. So you get your video with the lines of the angles of where your club and face are going. It really makes it easier for me to quicker for me to say, this is what is wrong, this is what we
show
need to fix.
people
And show them. Yeah. People want to see stuff. They don't want to listen to me talk their ear off.
I like listening to you talk, but
well, sort of.
Yeah.
And so they don't want to listen to me talk to them for 45 minutes. They want to see.
Yeah, totally.
For the most part. So I try to do as many demonstrations as I can, as best I can, but the Trackman really helps that out a lot. And the thing that overall that's been the biggest help, not only to my game, but to everybody else, I think over time it will help, is the Trackman will do the putting.
Oh, wow.
So you can put it on the green, and you can track the path of your putter, face of your putter. And so the hardest thing for a lot of my students to do is they can tell me what the green is doing. They can give me it's right to left, left to right, uphill, downhill, whatever. And on, let's say, a 10 or 12-foot putt, they can say, yeah, that putt's going to break right to left. And I'll say, okay, go tell me where you think you need to aim. Okay, and so they'll go put a tee out by the hole or something where they think they need to aim this ball. And almost never do they actually aim where that tee is, or even if they do aim where the tee is, they still don't get the ball started on that line. Mm-hmm. Okay, so there's also where the putting on Trackman helps, because you put that tee out there, and I'll line the Trackman up to that tee, and then you'll say hit 3 putts, and there's one number that's launch direction, and you'll see like your ball will launch 2, 3, 4 degrees right or left of that tee. Yeah. And you're like, there's your problem.
Yeah, I don't doubt that at all. I know I struggle with that.
You can get the speed, you can get the break, but you can't get the ball started on the line that you want.
Yeah,
and so
devastating to your game.
And it was, I'm the exact same way. I could read the putt, but I could not get the ball started on the line I wanted. And so after one 20-minute session for myself, I was like, well, every time I try to hit that tee out there, I'm 2 to 3 degrees left of it where the ball starts. And so I made the adjustments and make one more putt per round now.
There you go. So a couple questions for you. First, when you say you made that adjustment, are you adjusting your stroke, or are you saying you aimed 2 to 3 degrees to the right of where you normally would and just continued to make that same putting stroke?
Both.
Okay.
So as I watched my putting stroke, like I said, I'd start 2 to 3 degrees left of that tee, and my putter was moving probably 2 to 3 degrees outside in, like a slicing motion.
Yep.
Slightly. And so I was like, well, that's not good. I got to fix that. And so I got it. It's pretty easy for me to just adjust and go from a little bit more from the inside. So that helped.
Yeah.
And then I've always had I've always felt like my putter face would close as I hit putts. And so, but I didn't know for sure. I didn't know if I was right. I didn't know what I was doing wrong. And so now the numbers show that, my putter is moving outside in slightly, and the face of the putter is closed when I hit the ball.
Wow.
So I just make a conscious effort to feel like the putter face is just a little bit more open.
Keeping it,
And so far it's worked. And I know for a fact that at some point it'll go bad again.
Yeah.
But now I know that I've got the Trackman. So whenever if I go out and have a bad putting round and I start feeling like everything's going left, I'll just go on the Trackman and see the numbers. And when you feel the right stroke and you see the numbers match up to what a good stroke is, you're like, there you go.
There it is.
Now I got it.
Yeah. Well, and it's interesting, maybe just think like, gosh, you might as well in your practice routine just have check-in points. So every 2 weeks or a week, whatever it is, throw the Trackman down on the putting green, hit some putts, and just be like, okay, I'm still where I am. Am I still having that same feel of what you want it to be? Because you could end up going in the exact opposite direction. You could start pushing those putts a little too much. And so, I think that check-in's really good. The second question I have for you is, I believe Trackman tracks the ball the entire time, right?
Correct.
On the flight.
Yes.
So the data that you're receiving back is far more accurate than some of these more affordable launch monitors.
Correct.
Okay. Yeah.
Now, some will track the ball, and like you can take the Trackman indoors and hit it into a net.
Right.
And you can put it on the indoor setting, and it just as a formula that calculates.
Yeah. It figures out the spin rate and the launch angle.
It can go both ways. One of the other unique things that I like about the Trackman is you're out there on the range hitting a range ball. Okay. The range balls don't always perform the same way as a Pro V1 or a TP5, whatever TaylorMade's ball is.
Right.
All the premium balls.
Yeah.
Thank you. So there's a button on there that you hit your range balls, and you can set it on Billy is hitting a hard range ball.
Wow.
And then you click I think it's a normalization button, and it converts those numbers to what it would be on a premium golf ball.
That's pretty cool.
It is pretty cool.
That'd be interesting to test that, to see, like, to do range ball and then do a premium and see how close those.
I've not done that yet, but
you're welcome for that test.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, you can come out and test it.
I know. Yeah, we'll do that. Yeah. That'll be fun.
Yeah, and you can go out and pick the Pro V1s up.
Yeah,
off the driving range too.
I think it was over here. Yes. Right. Dang it! Why did I hit the yellow Pro V1s?
Yeah, right. But I haven't done that yet. But it's, you get out there and I was hitting Nick and Tom were out there, and I let them hit a few shots with their driver, and they hit the ball 100 miles. past me anyway.
Yeah, they're big hitters.
So I put them on there, and they were hitting the range ball, and I had it on the normalization mode, and they were hitting it. Their carries was maybe in the 280s or so, and so I said, "Hey, Nick, come check this out. This is what with the range ball. This is what you actually hit it. So don't get your ego up too high,
right?
But just kidding, you actually did hit that. If you had a Pro V1 and hit that button, that took it down to like 250 carry or 255.
Wow!
Because it was a range ball.
Holy cow!
So
that's amazing. So that big of discrepancy. That's pretty big.
Obviously, the more club head speed you got, the longer the club, the bigger the gap is. Like if you're hitting a pitching wedge full, you probably don't see that much difference.
Right. But yeah,
it's fantastic.
That's awesome. That's going to be a big tool for you, I think, just in your own game, but more importantly for everyone you teach.
Yeah,
so
both ways, and I've got a lot to learn too.
Oh, I'm sure.
But
yeah,
it's a fun learning process.
Oh my gosh, I'm excited for you. I think that's going to be good. Okay, so now let's manufacturer change, right? You were with Titleist, is that right?
I was playing Titleist. Okay. I wasn't equipment-wise. I technically wasn't with them. I wasn't on staff with them. I just chose to play them.
Nice.
And I think they make great equipment.
Right.
But one of the things that I've wanted to do for several years is you get out there teaching lessons. You see somebody that their equipment is not right for them. You just know it.
Yeah.
It's either old or it's not fit correctly, whatever. And I want something to give them and say, here, you should be hitting this instead. And we've, at Shoal especially, we've had a Callaway fitting system, and that's good. I've used it quite a bit, but it wasn't mine. I wasn't playing Callaway equipment. I didn't no reason to, and whatever. And I would try to put people in a Titleist club if I could, but we didn't have a whole lot of demos of that.
Right.
We didn't have a big fitting system of that. So I'm just kind of like, well, you're going to have to go see this guy or go to this place and try stuff out. And so now I've agreed to play and use Ping for my lessons and for club fitting and demo days and stuff like that. So now I'm playing the equipment, and I'm going to have as much of the fitting equipment as I can to give to people.
Nice.
And, I always thought all the top manufacturers, they all make good stuff.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It just comes down to one, getting fit correctly, and choosing what looks good and feels good to you.
I'm a firm believer in that.
And everybody makes good stuff.
Yeah, I get it. The difference is very minute, honestly, in the difference of the different manufacturers out there. But I believe what looks good and feels good in your hands as a golfer is going to give you more confidence, and you're going to go out there and play better.
Yeah.
If you don't like looking at your clubs, you need to change.
Right. Or if you don't like how your ball looks after it comes off your club, you need to change too. And a lot of people man, these clubs feel great, but I can't figure out why I hit it left of every green.
Right.
Well, your line's wrong, or the shaft is too stiff or too light, or
you don't need an offset club face.
Right.
Yeah.
Or maybe you do.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
So it's nice to have not only something that I'm playing, but also have all the equipment to go with it to let people try it. So
you've upped your game big time, your teaching game.
Thank you.
And your game.
Well, teaching game, I'll go with that. So,
that's awesome.
But I probably play less than I ever have. But
you're too busy.
I am. Yeah. I'm busy, but I feel like I play less, but when I do play, I play just as well, if not maybe a little bit better. So
yeah. It's a mindset. I think you get into that. If you're confident in your game, you can go out there and play better. And if you're not confident in your game, you're not going to play well. Yeah. So if you just kind of go out there and swing, it's going to work out for you.
Exactly.
Vegas. Let's talk about Vegas. You went out there for what? Why'd you go out there, I guess?
So the Midwest section, PGA, has their Pro-Am every year out there in end of February. And I've been out, I think this has probably been my third or fourth time out there. It's always great. It's a fun time. The weather's usually good. We had great weather this time. And we left at the time when it was like 0 degrees here.
Oh, gosh. Yeah, it
was 65 to 75 and sunny out there.
So that was early February,
Late February.
Oh, late February. Okay.
Late February. Right. And it was right at the end of when it was really cold here.
Oh, yeah.
and we had a great time. The guys that I took out there were guys that 3 of the 4 guys are guys that I had taught lessons to and just kind of become friends with over that time. So they had a good time. I don't think one of the guys had never been to Vegas, I think, and the other guys had never been to that tournament, never played some of those golf courses. We got to play Shadow Creek, which is no easy place to get into.
I've never played out at Vegas. I've never been out there. I've been to Vegas.
There's a lot of golf. I played a lot of the golf courses out there, and they're really good.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Shadow Creek's right there at the top of the list.
I've heard the Shadow Creek's really good, but I've just never been out there.
It was fun. It was fun because we had the guy out there. They make you take a caddy with you, and we got it. We got a tour caddy.
Okay.
He had caddied for Scott Piercy mainly, and a few other guys on tour. So, and the greens were wild. I mean, they were perfect. And the caddy was like, "Guys, this is what the PGA Tour players play on every week." I'm like,
okay.
All right.
What were they? What was the stint?
He said he stimped them that morning at 12. Yeah.
At 12. Okay. Wow.
So
I think what's average public golf course is probably 8 or 9 would be my guess. I don't even know.
Right now, I'd say Sycamore's probably at 10 and a half.
Yeah, I would agree with that. They're nice right now.
And that's the other thing Trackman putting will do is give you the stimp.
Oh my gosh.
So yeah.
Is there any end to what this thing can do? Can it make a cup of coffee for me?
It won't swing my club for me.
Okay.
But
that'd be awesome if it could.
So yeah, they were about 12, and it was just fun to just play in that type of perfect setting.
Oh my gosh.
I say if I could putt on perfect 12 greens like that, I'd be a really good putter.
Yeah.
Because you just get the ball in line and it goes. You just got to learn how to not hit it so hard.
Right. Yeah. Slow it down. I tend to putt better on faster greens. When you have to really whack the ball, like it's frustrating because you have to hit it so hard.
Yeah, and usually the ball bounces, or if the greens are slow, they're usually bumpy, and it's hard to keep the line, etc. But so the couple good stories from Vegas.
Yeah, let's hear this.
Okay, so we stayed. I don't know if I should say where we stayed or not, but we
probably not. I don't know.
Okay, so we stayed at the hotel. It was on the main strip, nice place. Anyway, so the second night we stayed there. We were there for 5 nights.
Yeah.
And I showed you a picture.
Yes.
Before
I know the story,
and I am not going to repeat this.
No. Yeah.
But so the second night, I come back to my room probably 11:30 to go to bed, and I'm getting ready for bed, and I look down on the floor by the door, and there's a piece of paper laying on the floor, and I pick this piece of paper up, and it's a handwritten note from somebody, whether it's next door or across the hall or something, that it was a warning, basically. So I'm in room 1104, and the note was a warning saying that the person in 1106, which is directly next door to me, was doing Vegas-type favors. Leave it at that.
Yeah, we don't need to go any further on what Vegas-type favors are.
I think everybody can use their imagination on that. And so this guy, kind of creeped me out, needless to say.
Rightfully so.
And so I took a picture of it, and I texted it to a couple of people in the group that I was playing with. I'm like, what should I do with this? And I get the wisecracks coming back, but I'm like, should I call security? And then I start thinking about it. 1, I'm tired and I just want to go to bed.
Yeah, it's late.
2, is this some sort of Vegas type of scam where they want me to call security and something? And it's like, I did nothing with it. I just set it aside and went to bed, took it to breakfast next morning. We all had a nice laugh about it, whatever. And I thought it was done. So we go play that day, come back. This is now the 3rd night. Come back from the golf course, go up to my room. It's maybe 5:30 now. And my room not only has the door to go to the hallway, but also the hotel's old enough, has the adjacent door within the room. So I'm connected to this guy within the room next door. And so I'm in there. Within a minute of me getting in the room, I see the note come under the door this time. So basically the same message on a new piece of paper came under the door. Opened up, read it, same thing. I'm like, okay, now this guy or whoever's sending this note knows when I'm coming and going. I'm up here on the 11th floor, down at the far end of the hallway in a zigzag hallway. I could walk out my door and get beat up or robbed or
lots
worse.
Lots of dark corners.
There's lots of and there's no video cameras in the hallway. I'm like, I'm out of here. So the guys I was with, we all kind of went down. I started talking to the people at the front desk, and I said, hey, I either want my money back, and two, I want a new room. And so they go back and they talk for a few minutes, and very shortly they come back and say, okay, we're going to comp your first room, and you can spend the rest of your stay in the penthouse suite. Like, okay, that'll do.
Let's talk about the penthouse suite.
I think they were very happy that I didn't make a bigger deal out of it or sue them.
Right.
I think they were like, just do whatever this guy wants.
Yeah.
And I didn't ever cross my mind. I don't think it's the hotel doing it.
No.
So I don't even know what they did. I don't know if they went and knocked on this guy's door or if they ever did anything, but I just didn't care. And so the whole group of us, they were nice enough. I was like, I'm not going back to my room by myself. There's lots of jokes of how we should have knocked on the guy's door as a group or whatever. And so
we're all here.
We'll skip, we're here for as you get a group rate.
Yeah.
But so all the guys helped me load up all my stuff out of my room, and obviously they all wanted to see it.
Right.
So we all five of us go up to the penthouse suite, and the thing, it's just a big apartment up there, basically. You know, there's a couple of bedrooms and couches and TVs, and I think there's like 3 or 4 balconies.
Holy cow!
That just overlooking the skyline of,
that's awesome.
Of Vegas. And
it makes me think of like Hangover. You were just living it up at the top of this.
Yeah, we didn't have the same results.
You didn't? No, yeah. You didn't go up on the roof.
No, I didn't wake up on the roof, and the room was not trashed or anything like that. But I will say the bed was softer.
Hey, well, okay, all right. Yeah. So they are nicer beds. It is a nicer place to stay. Is the penthouse? Okay, all right. Good to know. Good to know.
And then so there's that happened. So then we're I think you may have seen this on social media also. So we're going home. We're in the airport. We get there plenty early.
Yeah.
And so we're walking down into one of the other terminals, and a lady hits. She hits a jackpot in the airport.
Wasn't it like 300,000?
On the Wheel of Fortune machine. So one of the guys that used to go on the trip a couple of years ago, his wife went, and we all went to high school together, and she loved to play Wheel of Fortune.
No
so
way.
I sent it to him. It's like, well, see, look what you missed out on. And
holy cow.
So she's playing Wheel of Fortune in the airport, hits a $300,000 jackpot in the airport.
Wow.
She's going nuts. She starts screaming right as we walk into the terminal, and everybody in the terminal just gets quiet, like, what is going on?
Yeah.
You know, you don't want
someone screaming
in the airport. And so they quickly figure out that she's hit the jackpot, and I think the thing made the rounds on like Barstool and some of these other.
Yeah. I was gonna say I saw you post about it, or I saw the Barstool one. There was a lot of them I saw.
Well, Nate, one of the guys that I took, he took a video of it and he posted on his. I don't know if it was that video or there was a number of people taking videos of it. So one of those videos got on there, but yeah, we were there to see that.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Maybe not as cool as the notes underneath your door, but yeah.
The thing that after I started thinking about it, the thing that I hope did not happen with that is I thought, what if the person playing that machine was sitting right there? They played this for like 30 minutes, not won anything, and they're like, I'm done. I'm going to go. And then the next lady comes up, and I mean, I remember the lady, I went through security with her, so she hadn't been there that long. She hadn't been playing for very long.
She just thought, I've got a quarter or whatever, and she put $1 in, and my last chance.
Yeah, she didn't invest a lot of money into it. Let's just put it that way. I hope the guy or the lady that was playing before was already on their flight and gone.
Yeah, I was just there. I was just sitting there. Yeah, man, that's crazy. That's awesome. I mean, how was the security? Like, did security come pretty quickly? Because it's not like she's getting the money right there.
We didn't stick around to see all that. I don't think she probably made her flight. She probably had some paperwork to fill out. Yeah, right.
Like, I'll buy another one.
I'm sure Vegas wanted to keep her in Vegas longer. I'd been like, I'm out of here.
They offered her.
Give me that check and I'm out.
Did they offer her room 1104?
Yeah. No. There's so many jokes on the golf course about that.
I can only imagine.
Yeah. But
none that are probably safe to share.
No, probably not.
That's awesome. Well,
good trip. You know, golf was good. Everybody played well. We actually our team won. Every day is kind of a separate tournament.
Yeah.
And we won the last day of the tournament.
Nice.
So,
how many rounds of golf did you play?
We played 4 rounds. First day was just a practice round, just to knock the rust off, and then 3 days of tournament rounds.
Wow.
So we played Shadow Creek, Southern Highlands, and we played Bears Best in the practice round, then TPC Las Vegas the last day.
Okay.
And that's the course we won on.
What'd you guys shoot? What was the format?
Well, the format was it was a shamble. So we all 4 teed off, and then everybody played their own ball from there, and we had to take 2 or 3 gross scores of the 5 of us.
Okay.
I think it was 3. I think we shot like 31, 32 under par.
Oh, wow.
And the last hole was a par 3, like a 200-yard par 3, and we had to write down 2 bogeys out of the 3 scores on that hole.
And you still won.
And we thought, man, this cost us $50-$100, but we still won.
That's pretty awesome.
I think 1 shot.
So you guys won money then, I'm assuming?
We did.
Okay.
We won.
You don't have to tell me what you won.
Yeah, the money is not, it's not about the money, but there was a little bit.
That's awesome.
So it was cool.
That's fun. What a unique trip you had of just all around, like good golf, crazy scenarios, and then it's capped off by someone winning over $300,000.
I just wish it would have been somebody in our group.
I know. Can you imagine?
But it was fun to see.
You probably would have just turned around and stayed. Like you probably, it's like, all right.
If it would have been me, I would have still left. Because if I stay there, then they're going to want me to spend that money there.
Right.
And
that's a good point.
I'm going to be on the next plane out of there.
Yeah. You'd be like, I'll take 5 Trackmans. No, just joking.
Billy wants a Trackman.
Yeah, exactly. We're giving them away. That's awesome. Well, cool. What else you got? I mean, we've been talking for an hour. It's a pretty good conversation.
Yeah, that's
Junior.
That's about it. You know, I'm sure somewhere down the line there'll be more to talk about.
Oh yeah, heck yeah.
But yeah, we're excited to get the PGA Junior League started, and we've got junior camps lined up, full. Everything's normal.
Yeah,
full scale stuff this year. Sycamore Ridge, Shoal Creek, junior camps.
Good for you.
Just ready to get the season going. Get a little bit nicer weather.
Nice. Me too. I'm ready for it. Just warmer. I mean, it's not bad weather right now. It's like 60s and stuff, but it just we could use some sunshine. You know, dry these courses out. It's been wet.
Yeah.
So
it would help.
Well, Brad, thank you so much for coming down. And
thanks for having me again.
Thanks for getting up early and not having any caffeine today. So I think you did great. So.
I'm going to go take a nap.
Nice. All right. Well, thanks, man.
You bet.